I'm Andrew with Lucid, and we're building autonomous drones for labor-intensive jobs. There's no doubt about it, drones are transforming industries, but when most people think of drones today, they think of small drones that merely take nice pictures and videos and observe the world around them. At Lucid, when we think of drones, we think of industrial drones that perform productive, labor-intensive tasks that physically affect the world around them. These drones are capable of disrupting markets like cleaning, agriculture, and a whole host of other spraying applications. At Lucid, we're starting with the cleaning space because this market is ripe for disruption today. Traditional cleaning companies are currently relying on difficult, expensive, and dangerous methods. Let's take, for example, an 8-story office building. If you wanted to go and clean this with traditional methods, it would likely take a crew of workers days, if not weeks, to get it done. But with our drones, this job can now be done in hours. Beyond that, you may need to rent a 120-foot lift that's going to cost over $10,000 a month, while our drones cost customers only $3,000 a month. And lastly, suspending human workers well above ground from lifts, ladders, scaffolds, it leads to a multitude of accidents and deaths each and every year. With our drones, these workers are relocated to the ground, so no one has to get hurt, but most importantly, no one has to die. This is a picture of our custom cleaning drone. We lease our drones to cleaning customers for $3,000 a month. Here it is in action. One cleaning drone can replace an entire crew on a scaffold and clean up to 5 times more efficiently. These drones are capable of cleaning anything from stone to roofs, windows. You name the building surface, our drones can clean it. What makes us really unique is we're building frontier technology, but we found a way to make it easy to use today and have landed top-tier customers like Mercedes-Benz Stadium and Softwash Pros USA. We currently have $38,000 in monthly recurring revenue already launched, with LOIs for over 60 drones that would lead to almost $200,000 in monthly recurring revenue. For us, software is a really strong competitive advantage. We're often flying in indoor environments or in dense urban environments where most drones can't even fly. But we leverage interference-resistant sensors and have a universal flight mode that allows us to fly in these very complicated and challenging conditions. But with our computer vision and a whole host of sensors, we're currently empowering our drones to be able to create a point cloud map in real time and autonomously navigate their surroundings to completely automate these service jobs. From a data perspective, we've created a pipeline that is currently empowering us to provide an unprecedented level of support in the drone industry. We collect this data to do predictive and proactive maintenance for our customers. So we can say, hey, Chris, your back left motor is no longer performing at peak power output, and actually send you a new motor ahead of, say, a potential failure in flight. But as I mentioned on the last slide, we're programming our drones to fly autonomously. And since we lease this technology, we own that data and will be amassing a large portfolio of automated flights. And now what this means is we become really sticky in the eyes of our customers because we now own the autonomous flight patterns to all of their service work. Lastly, hardware is something that creates opportunity for us. By building the hardware in-house, not only can we control costs, but it also gives us a lot of flexibility to quickly iterate upon our product design, as well as continue to evolve as the market evolves and meet the changing needs of the market. Last year, at the onset of the global pandemic, we took our core technology from the cleaning drone and were able to launch a disinfecting drone in a matter of weeks to satisfy that need. We're currently focused on a $12 billion market opportunity for cleaning alone. But as I mentioned, with this core technology, we can then expand and launch new products like agriculture and painting and target a much larger total addressable market. But our vision at Lucid is much broader than just spraying applications. Our mission is to elevate safety, efficiency, and humanity by building the world's most productive drones, whether that be for spraying applications, constructions, and beyond. We put together an exceptional team to execute this vision. As founders, we went through Y Combinator and were recently selected to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. We've surrounded ourselves with veteran sales talent, as well as top-tier engineers from places like Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Georgia Tech, and former drone startups and robotics companies. We're currently raising $1.5 million to accelerate growth. We'll use this capital to continue to scale our sales and distribution nationally. refine our product, as well as create a more robust customer experience. Again, we're Lucid, and we're building autonomous drones for labor-intensive jobs. Thank you.
Great job. I know we've had a chance to talk on this before, so super exciting on this. I think one of the things that I love is when you're highlighting the cleaning side, it comes across as the 10x better solution, right? It's faster, it's cheaper, it's safer, it feels like a no-brainer, when you're pitching it. So that's always, and obviously several gigantic markets. I think, so one question that I have is, what's the cost? What's the cost for a drone today to put one together?
If you wanted to say take an off-the-shelf industrial drone from another manufacturer, it will range anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, and that's actually where we started. We thought, let's take the path of least resistance and try to take an off-the-shelf drone and build hardware and software on top of it. So we went to the largest drone manufacturer, the most respected at the time, quickly realized, one, it didn't have the technical capabilities for what we want, because purpose-built drones, they truly have to be built from the ground up, they can't be bought, but there are a whole host of business headaches. We had these trivial issues with these drones, like a motor failed, or they upgraded to the wrong firmware, and the shortest time frame they ever fixed one of these issues was 4.5 months. So we were just hemorrhaging cash during that time period and realized we had to start building our own drones because you can't just take them off the shelf.
How long does it take? And are you having any supply chain issues associated
so
with
luckily,
getting those?
with our magnitude, we don't have any supply chain issues. And right now, let's say in the magnitude of hundreds, we know we won't have a bottleneck. What's really exciting for us as a hardware company is for us to reach, say, a magical number of 100 million in ARR, we don't need hundreds of thousands or millions of hardware products out there. Our magic number is 3,000. We need 3,000 drones in air to get to 100 million in ARR.
Okay. So one thing I was thinking about is, so what about regulatory issues, right?
Yeah.
Obviously drones have been, have some challenges. Is cleaning a particular solution? Is there a human in the loop element that enables it to be regulatory compliant? Walk me through any regulatory issues.
There are a ton of regulations in the drone space, and that's part of why we started with cleaning, because we saw a place to go and build frontier technology where we didn't have to wait for the actual regulations to evolve. You hear lots of talk about delivery drones today. People can build the technology to deliver packages. Now, will the regulations evolve in time to actually meet that technology innovation? So that's where we're focused on cleaning. But with our disinfecting drone, that's essentially a more complicated indoor version of an outdoor agricultural drone. So we would like to expand to the agricultural drone in the future. But right now, the agricultural market is more heavily regulated, so we're not yet penetrating that space. Does that make sense?
So, great job.
Thank you.
So you said it's a $12 billion market today. Yeah. Are there big companies that do this, or are they regional, or?
So there's a whole host. You've got anywhere from your mom and pops, just kind of owner-operator companies, all the way up to companies like ABM that make billions of dollars and are publicly traded. So we're really looking at ways we can consolidate the market, whether that be through looking at equipment rental companies that are currently, say, renting lifts, where we're eating into their market share because our favorite way to prospect customers is, what equipment do you currently use today? And then there are also other, say, trade organizations that consist of these large, let's call them 10 to 100 million plus cleaning companies as well.
So is your go-to-market, do you want to lease these to service providers?
Correct.
You do? All right. And so how do you gain access to those folks? Because they're probably pretty big companies and they've got a lot of capital invested in their existing stack, right?
Yeah, so we're currently looking at it as a phased approach. So right now we're focused more on the smaller players, closer to these owner-operators, where they can make quick decisions and we don't have to involve a lot of parties. We found these are our best early adopters, but the way we penetrate to get to that next phase 2 is really just through network effects. So we've got a lot of great partners like Spartan Chemical, the National Service Alliance, these really great brand name presences in the cleaning space. And it's really just getting a lot of face time with these people, because when you're targeting, say, a $100 million cleaning company, it takes a little bit of time to convince them, yes, I should change from the way I've always done something to now incorporating a drone. Even when you look at the numbers, it makes a lot of sense for them.
So we're talking, you said 3,000 drones gets you to 100 million ARR,
yep.
right? So you lease, that assumes that you'd lease a drone for a month, right? Okay. So how many buildings get cleaned every day? Because I know I see it, right? And like it's availability bias, but like,
sure.
like in Charlotte, does this how many are getting cleaned today? Do you know?
So typically each building, at least its windows on a commercial side, are cleaned about twice a year. There are over 5 million commercial buildings in the United States, but that doesn't account for all the other things our drones could clean, like industrial things, digester tanks, water towers, sports stadiums. The list kind of goes on and on.
What's the useful life of one? So how often would you have to replace the hardware?
So I'm happy to say we are still in the process of finding that out. We built our first base model back in the fall of 2019, and the motors and subframe, those are all still up and running. So right now we're conservatively predicting roughly a 2-year lifespan on most of our components.
Do you see, so obviously COVID was a little bit of a tailwind, particularly when it came to like stadium and entertainment venues, because you could do it really quickly, you could do it less or no human. Does that become a harder sell to those type of venues once they're maybe less concerned about that?
Yeah, what we found is the disinfecting drone was really hot several months ago, and some of the interest from that has started to tail off. And that's why we're now excited to explore the agricultural space, because the technology is honestly fairly close to being identical. There's not a lot we have to change there. It's just a different market. But what we found with the disinfecting drone is we were able to get these top tier customers and go inside NFL stadiums. And that helped us capture the attention of a much broader market. So, I mean, even to date, we haven't really done outbound sales. We're still just responding to all these people who have seen what we've done at first on the disinfecting drone, but now they hear about the cleaning drone, and that's kind of the hot topic.
Do you envision a future where you cut the cleaning company out? Like, do you always see yourself as a hardware lease, kind of component lease, or do you start to supply the entire service and capture the whole?
It's something we've thought a lot about. I think in the long run vision of what we're trying to do with the product, of making it fully autonomous, there's a path by which instead of going to a more fragmented cleaning market, we could go directly to the property managers or the property owners, where they manage a whole portfolio of properties in Charlotte or Atlanta, and it's a much more consolidated sales approach for us. But for us to be able to do that, we need to continue to advance the technology.
You know, I was thinking about our business a little bit. We sell software to home improvement contractors, and going direct has been good for us. However, we partner now with the world's largest plumbing wholesale distributor.
Okay.
And it's a real tailwind. And so I think that a really important decision that you need to make is how direct are you going to be, right? Because if you are direct in any sense, all the entrenched players are going to view you as a competitive threat.
Yeah.
And if you're merely a supplier to people who go and provide these services, they'll be your ally, but then you're sort of relying on them, right?
That's a really good point.
Like, do you know which one you're going to do? Like, it sounds like you want to be the supplier, right?
And we really do want to be the supplier because we want to focus on the technology, just knowing what our core technology is capable of doing. It's by no means limited to chemicals. Each day, even our own customers are asking us, could we use this for firefighting? Could we use this for sealants? We've done a proof of concept test with painting. So our largest addressable market opportunity is going to be through being that technology provider and staying focused as a drone technology company rather than, say, a drone cleaning company.
Yeah. A channel-focused approach requires a lot of discipline, and the customer intimacy that we needed, right, was with the distribution partner, right? Because their needs and the end customer's needs have some overlap, but the distribution partner's needs are, in many cases, distinct, right? Do you know what those distributors, do you know who they are and do you know what they need?
And so on the cleaning distributor side, so the cleaning distributors are typically like the ones that are selling, say, your equipment that are the pressure washers or your floor scrubbers. So we've learned that they have different needs than what our current business model is set up to do. I know we've had conversations with some of the largest equipment rental companies in the world, and that's a really attractive, scalable sales opportunity for us. But there's a little bit of mending to our model because their typical model is we buy assets and then rent it out. And our typical model is we like to rent and lease out our equipment. So,
I think as you go, like You got a great pitch, and I think that
Thank
you're like ready for a small or medium-sized institutional investor. They're going to want crisp answers
Yep.
on the distribution approach, direct or indirect. And are you testing that, or do you know where you're going,
Yeah.
and what are you going to do to evaluate those?
Yep, that all makes sense. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It was good.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey,